I've had the chance with you guys and girls to actually let out my emotions and, let out my tantrums, have a good rant, and get the feedback from it. And it's been great to know that that it's okay to do that, and I've noticed in some senses it gets attention as well. When you get really angry and shout at the camera, people, especially on these platforms and Facebook and stuff, people tend to then respond, whereas before they're just silently watching, So there's a tendency that I felt over the live shows to feed a little bit off rage or anger, and that's one of the things that I've really been thinking about, because it's something that the anger. It was something I moved away from my own real life, say the real physical reality. And I stopped shouting at people, stopped being bitter with people, stopped showing rage or contempt for things in public, in real, with my friends and with my family and everybody else. But here on YouTube and on the internet, it's a kind of an art form. And as we've seen, other video makers have been shouting with immense rage. And it does kind of feel good to see that there's other people in the world who feel the same way. But there's a tendency for me, I notice in myself, and I guess that it's the same with a lot of us, that we kind of bind ourselves with that feeling of rage and somehow feed off it. And it somehow becomes right, it somehow feels right to shout, when in actual fact, I don't think it is, because it escalates. The provocation and the aggression will always escalate. So if somebody else is being aggressive, to be more aggressive will usually just escalate, and the other person becomes aggressive until something gets broken, until it expands into a different thing. And so I'm thinking, leave the rage and leave the anger. I can pull it out. I can do it any time. I know I've got that, so to speak, that firepower but it's about holding the fire, about having that flame of passion and not the flame of anger, And I'm sure you all can relate to this. It's so easy to get angry, and then so easy for people to join in on that anger. And we do see a lot of kind of hate on this. On these systems, on these platforms. We see a lot of hate going around, but it's not really, I think it's more expression, artistic expression, than anything else. And one of the things that amazed me from watching my own videos, especially the rants that I did maybe in the forest or something, is how scary I looked to myself, how scary I appear to me. And I thought to myself, whoa, I can't be that scary and intimidating. Surely if I'm that intimidating to people, then people are going to run a mile. So it's okay on a video, because you can turn off, you're in the safety, I'm trapped behind this glass screen, And so I see it as being, it's like something we can try, it's something we can experiment with. But at the same time, when we're dealing with media, when we're dealing with these issues, it does seem to me to be important to now, especially in these times, to draw it into the right mood, into the right feeling, to not have so much contempt and anger towards the people we sometimes call sheeple, maybe, out of anger, the ones who are closest to us, our friends, who actually make us feel the worst, because we want them to wake up, so to speak, first. And so we approach our closest friends, hoping that they will be the first ones to understand us, and then we can continue with a larger circle of people, helping to join the dots for people. Because most people are awake, they just haven't joined enough dots to realise the seriousness of the situation, or the joke of the situation, or what they need to do. So I think a lot of us are clued up about a lot of things, and a lot of us consider ourselves awake, even though we don't know what all of the things are in the world. the truth behind the events, the truth behind the world-changing events that lead to aggression and terrorism and everything else. You know, we don't know every detail, but we know somewhere that we have to stand up and use our voice